Hi guys, we're back. Bchusd here, as usual, every Tuesday and Thursday, giving you top-level market analytics. This program is powered by Liteforex broker, and today we're gonna focus on the cryptocurrency market. I think it's really exciting time right now to be involved, to be engaged with the cryptocurrency market, both from the long-term perspective, but also from the short-term perspective. And I'm going to take you to one of my top favorite trading opportunities right now, which I'm actually very much heavily involved in. It is the BitcoinCash. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright guys, so you're looking at the daily chart, right? This is the BitcoinCash, and I really like this one. Not only because I'm already in a profit of about 30%. Return. I mean, I was almost 50% at some point 2 days ago, but right now it came off a little bit, so I believe it's about 30 to 35%. I've entered at 430. But the reason I'm telling you about this is not only because it already made a huge move. I mean, really unusual if you compare that to the rest of the market. I mean, the rest of the market is pretty bullish in the last few days, but this one was really off the charts. We're talking about almost 50% move in pretty much 5 days, right? And I was very interested in this one when I saw price was beginning to engage with that same bottom key level, 42640. Take a look. We're looking at, I mean, this is the short-term perspective, right? I'm going to give you some insight with regard to the long-term perspective in a few minutes. But right now I want to keep it on the short term because, to be honest, long-term perspective, we still can't determine whether the market is bottoming out or whether we're going to have some more downside moves down the line. But from a short-term perspective, it's easier to take really nice moves of a few days, and this is a perfect example. Now, when the BitcoinCash here was starting to trade sideways, by the way, that happened roughly around the middle of August. This was the moment it started to trade sideways and started to build up a trading range. It started with the first leg up, followed by the second leg. Now, at that point, I wasn't really sure we're going to have a sideways movement, a formation, a trading range formation. But as I've noticed, that price was unable to break below that key level, that bottom key level 42640. This is where it became really interesting for me. Because what I did was I went straight to the weekly chart. I wanted to see whether price was able to close above 426. And here's what I found. Take a look. I'm going to close in as much as possible. So here it was. I noticed that first spike right here on that very bottom key level, right? And the following week was also challenging that same level, starting to trade below, but pulling back up, leaving just a second consecutive spike here, and price began to turn around. At that point, I knew that I'm looking at a valid symmetric setup that I can further break down the legs and obviously take advantage of the separate legs. So the third leg, basically that was the second leg, right? We saw the first, we saw the second, touching base on the bottom key level here, beginning to turn around. It was pretty obvious we're going to have the third leg going back again to the higher section, which is everything between 615 and all the way to 704, right? I would also suggest the previous high as an important price target. Potentially speaking, that's 660. Now, it started pretty well at the beginning, and it even crossed the 515, which was the first major obstacle. It did that right here. But then it just made it halfway through, right? And then it started to fall back down with the rest of the market. But here's where it becomes fascinating. Because what it did, it went straight again to touch base on that same very bottom key level, 42640. And what was done here, effectively speaking, is a double bottom, right? Take a look. Beautiful double bottom. Now, double bottom, you know, it's a very well-known, reversal pattern from the technical analysis body of knowledge. However, I do not use it nakedly. I would not try to rely on any double bottom, double top if it doesn't back up with a strong technical, in this case, technical tool. In this case, I got the symmetric setup, so the fact that we had this double bottom right on the spot of that bottom key level, 42640, and I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't really breaking below that level, because it looked like it does, right? But this is just a daily chart. What you really want to do is filter out the noise coming from the daily chart, so you do that by checking the close on the weekly bar. And here's what I found, and this is quite remarkable. After the first attempt here, remember this one, there was a beautiful second attempt which started to break below 426, right? You see that spike here. So price was effectively was on the downside, trading below that level, but quickly pulling back, leaving that spike and beginning to turn around, right? To shift direction. This was the moment I took massive action, because it was quite clear to me that the 42640 is such a strong support level, and it's going to hold. And not only that it's going to hold, but I was actually expecting a full move all the way back to the higher section, just according to this particular symmetric setup, right? So that was the story, basically. Now, what I would like to show you here is, what I'm going to do with regards to the rest of the move, the rest of the way here, because I think we've only reached the middle of the way. You can obviously see, right? We're just in the middle, basically precisely in the middle of the range. And I believe we're still missing about 30%, 25% potential return on the way up. Because what we did on the way up, I mean, just in the last 3-4 days, aside from this explosive move, right, price crossed an important obstacle, the 515 level again, right? That's an important milestone. And it did that with a weekly close. Take a look, right? That's also quite an important confirmation that we are indeed on the way up. So it is most likely that price will reach the upper section here again. So I'm going to take you again to the daily chart. And here's where I'm aiming for. I'm aiming at 614.9, right? As you can see, the mid-high key level, that's just the natural, most powerful, I should say, key level. So my plan is to probably close out 50% of the position at 614.9, which is pretty much about 10% from where we're trading right now, right? Then I'm going to leave 50% of the position to try to chase the rest of the move. As I see it, it should reach the previous major high. Previous major high, 660, just according to, I've been analyzing the recent lows here. They were so decisive in terms of taking the previous low. So I think it should do the same on the way up. It should take the previous high just as well, and possibly even reaching the 703 level. Having said that, I should say that above 614.9 here, that big key level, things are going to become a little more risky, should I say. So the safest move would be to 615, right? And as you can see, price is coming back off right now a little bit, which probably is a good thing. We can pick it up in a more of an attractive price. Now, I would not be surprised to see price starting some form of downside correction, just a local downside correction. You can expect that after such a strong upside move, right? So if it will come down a little bit, touch base with the 515 again, right? I expect that level to hold, right? It should have been turning into a support. It was a resistance, it got broken. Now it should act as a strong support. So if price comes off and touch base with that level again, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to increase my position significantly. But I'm going to wait to see the reaction on that level and price beginning to turn around, right? Now, so there you go. This is the game plan for the Bitcoin Cash. This is short-term perspective. Let me give you a little bit of insight with regards to the bigger picture, with the long-term perspective. So here it is. Take a look. This is the massive downside trend, right? Or you can call it correction phase if you like. But it was just a bear market that was basically taking place almost a year now, right? Massive downside correction phase for all the cryptocurrency market. It's not, it's not specifically for the Bitcoin Cash here. But here's what we're trying to ask ourselves: whether we are in the very bottom. And I have to say that I have a feeling we are, because usually bottoming out, right, after such a huge downside move, usually bottoming out is a phase rather than, a sharp move. And I think we're looking at that very process right now. So this very sideways movement that I was just analyzing, right, we were looking at the daily chart, I think that is what I'm trying to say is that's the actual process of the market bottoming out. But for that to get, to be confirmed, right, for this conviction to be confirmed efficiently, we will have to see price not only reach the 614, but also break above the 703, right here, the top key level. Once we get a weekly close above that level, that would be a huge indication that we did bottom out and we are out of the bottoming out process, which means the market is about to engage with the next bullish run, right? Which we're talking long-term perspective. That could be a year or two, easy. So I'm definitely going to follow up very closely on the situation here on the Bitcoin Cash, and let me suggest a scenario which I believe is very likely. So we only saw here so far two legs, right? We saw the first and the second, and I'm trying to suggest that we are in the middle of the third leg, this whole structure, which will end up around, as I've said, 615, 660 or so. I actually think that price can give us another downside leg, all the way back to the lower section, just to give us, another unique opportunity to pick it up again from the lower section and take it up again to the higher section before it would actually break through and begin the next, bullish market, right? Like I said, bottoming out is a process. I don't think we're done with that process. I think we're just in the middle of it. But, I'm still going to use the 703, right? We can call it actually 704, that top key level, as my main point of reference, as my main trigger to establish a long-term position on the Bitcoin Cash. Fair enough? There you go. Very much bullish outlook from the short-term perspective right now on the Bitcoin Cash. We got about 100 points to my final destination, which means we're still having about 20%, 25% of potential return, which could easily take place in the next day or two, right? We saw the Bitcoin Cash exploding in the last few days. It may continue. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we'll follow up and we'll keep you posted in the next few weeks. I hope you enjoyed the session. I sure did. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join in. There you go. Have a great trading day. Bye-bye.